I want to show you what I'm working on. I'm Tanner Hansen, and I'm an artist and a writer, and I'm currently making my new fantasy novel, Halen's Run. This is my main character, Halen List, a disgraced soldier who's trying to return home before his past can catch up with him. In my introduction video, I give you a brief overview of who he is and what the story is about, so check that out if you haven't seen it already. I recently finished the outline for my book. Yay! This is my first time writing a novel, and it was really fulfilling to make that step. I've been working through Story Genius step by step, and it's been an invaluable companion through uncharted territory. I still have tons of work to do and lots of questions I have regarding secondary characters and subplots. Who you're watching me draw right now is one of those secondary characters who I'm calling Robin. In this video, I want to talk about my design process and the things I learned this week. While I was working on that outline for my book, I came up with Robin. She becomes important to the story very early on and will have a lot of time interacting with the main character. While I liked the role she performs in the story, I had no idea what her background or her personality was. I was apprehensive to design her because of how little I knew. The prompt was Bat Rider, Spearwoman. And that was kind of it, and you can tell from my first render how much direction I lacked. She's just kind of boring. And she's wearing a Batman cape, something I honestly did not think about until I had already drawn it. I knew I had to go back to the manuscript and spend some time writing her backstory. What does she want? What does she struggle with? If she were the protagonist, what would she learn if Halen's Run were her story? What I like to do is come up with one word that summarizes who this character is and build everything about them around that word. From their looks to their name to their story. And for Robin, it's revenge. For Halen, it's perfectionist. For these two, their word has been the epitome of their misbelief, or the thing that they struggle with internally. Knowing Robin's misbelief, my research provided much more rewarding results. I found an entry from a tattoo forum in 2010 that had some terrific recommendations. A dove with bloody wings to represent being hobbled from your past, bloody teardrops to indicate being blinded by an enemy, 3 blood drops on the breast to symbolize the removal of the heart. It can be helpful to use animals as cultural symbols to influence your design. Halen, for instance, is a peacock. Robin's inspiration is rather obvious, and there are bird-like shapes hopefully reflected in her design. But I found something else rather surprising that fit her perfectly. Harpies. In Greek mythology, they are a symbol of divine justice and vengeance. They were a personification of the wind, which has a duality. It's calm and peaceful, but also capable of great destruction and chaos, which is a description I absolutely love. It reminded me of Mr. Aizawa, or Eraserhead from My Hero Academia. Your first impression of him is of a bored, uninterested teacher, but when he fights, he transforms into a whirlwind of action. This became a strong point of inspiration for Robin. All this great reference gave me tons of new ideas to improve my original design. What I wanted to do was use one simple idea that gives you an impression of her role in the story. I'm trying to not worry about polish, anatomy, or line quality. I'm going for a good design. Less is more. A good example of this is Raven from Teen Titans. Actually, all the character designs from the show are excellent. You can summarize them down to emojis, and still know who they are. They're distinct and diverse. And as I write the story and draw these characters more and more, I'll find those 1 or 2 ideas that represent them best. So here's my final render for Robin. Notice her messy hair and tattered scarf juxtaposed with her calm expression and relaxed posture. I want you to feel how agile and graceful Robin is, while at the same time detect the thunderstorm building underneath the surface. She has scars over her eyes, which are remnants of her painful past. I tried experimenting with red face paint and masks, but they just didn't work for me. They obscured her face too much, and I didn't want it to feel like you couldn't trust or connect with her. The scars might also be a good explanation for why she has such shaggy, unkempt hair in an attempt to hide them. I want her to feel vulnerable and weak internally, like she is a broken limb that has healed poorly and left her with a permanent limp. The scarf, I'm thinking, belongs to the people she wants to get her revenge on, and she wears it as a reminder of her commitment to vengeance, as well as a signal to her family's killers. It's white towards the top like a dove, and the tips are red as if they are stained in blood. Even the shape is bird-like. I'll keep playing on these ideas. Maybe I'll try making the scarf feel older or tattered. Maybe it literally is stained with blood. Maybe instead her gloves and boots are red and the scarf is something else. I don't know. There's a lot of iteration I can do while keeping the intention behind the design the same. I hope you enjoyed and learned something along with me. Next week, I hope to make a lot of progress on my book as I discover more about these secondary characters and their stories. Till next time.